So all week we have been learning how to draw facial features. We started with our eyes and our three circles. We started with our nose and our three circles. For the eyes, we drew a pair. For the nose, we drew it a little bit to the side. Today, what we're going to be learning is how to do the mouth. Now, the mouth is challenging. It took me a while to really understand the mouth and how to accurately draw it. But just like our other ones, we're going to start with three circles. So let's go ahead and get started. So with our mouth and our three circles, we're going to have two circles at the top for where the peaks of your top lip are, and one circle for the bottom. These are just a general way to get started with lips. Now, if you have a smaller upper lip, you might have smaller circles. If you have a bigger bottom lip, you might have a bigger circle. So it's going to change depending on how your mouth looks. But this definitely gives us a starting point. Now, we always want to start with our center line. So if you look at yourself in the mirror, some people have mouths that turn down and some have mouths that turn up. And we're going to start by just drawing a normal smile. It doesn't have to be smiling, just kind of you're looking at your face and your mouth is not talking like mine is. So by doing that, I can see that mine starts and goes down. So notice I'm following along with some of my shapes. Maybe this one goes up so I can actually follow along that circle and then up. Ooh, I'm gonna run out of space, they're gonna overlap. Now with my top circles, I can very nicely follow those for some volume and then bring it back down on the side. Now our lips are just not as big as people think they are, or even cartoons. And then I can bring this one up into the side, even though this looks like a cartoon lip. And the reason it does is because, again, we don't have value yet. And that's what's going to take this and make it look more like realistic lips. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Maybe this one has a softer V and a little bit wider of a mouth. And then we can follow this again up and over. So look at how just changing the size of my circles and the direction in which the mouth is turned. This one is turned down. This one is turned up. So you want to look at your mouth. I know that was cheesy. Sorry, guys. You want to look at your mouth and figure out which direction it's going. And then down at the bottom, you can challenge yourself. Maybe you want to draw the mouth open or smiling. And I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to have to pick one of those. So you can either do open or a smile because we want that challenge. Now, before we do that, while you're thinking about it, I'm going to show you a little bit of value on these lips. So where these two lips come together is going to be a little bit darker. And even on the bottom, just a little bit, not a lot. And then we're going to have medium on the bottom. And this medium is going to match up and leave just a little highlight where that lip is. Now, the same with the top, we're going to have medium here, so it's going to be almost a reflection. And then darker in the middle where those two lips come together. And look at how we already have a nice highlight going with that mouth. Now, it's nothing fancy or really difficult, but it's a great way to start adding that value to your drawing. Now, if we're going to start smiling, there's some things that you need to look at. And I'm going to say this while I'm smiling because I'm going to have to draw it. So you want to see how much of your teeth are showing. And you'll notice that when you do smile, your lips stretch. So they get a little bit bigger and a little bit thinner. So I'm going to start with my upper lip. And I can notice that my mouth, the top lip, almost goes straight across. I can look to see where that curve is by placing my two circles. I don't have much of a curve. And then this goes out to the side because that lip is pretty stretched. Then I want to start looking. I have kind of these dimples on the side to where my bottom lip goes. And that curves, a very slight curve. not cartoony, so all the way open, and where that bottom lip goes. So I'm really looking. You can still put that circle there, but we're missing a lot of it because we're drawing with our mouth open. Now, the one thing everybody wants to do to draw teeth is just draw lines. We don't want to do that. Instead, you really want to look at your teeth. Mine used to be perfectly straight. They're not as much anymore. I do only see my top teeth. So I'm going to figure out where they're going to go. Now, I actually have some of my gums showing. So I want to make sure that I'm drawing my teeth large enough to fit in the mouth that I've drawn, but also so that I have some of those gums showing, because that's how my teeth would actually look. Ooh, we'll get this little skinny one in here, and then it's just kind of dark the rest of the way. So look at how we can really make our teeth look as if they are sitting in that mouth by having those gums or even the bottom of those teeth show. If you have gaps, that's okay too. And we can always go back in and add that value. So again, a little darker at the top from the shade of that upper lip, that highlight. Now it won't be as much because you're smiling. Now the same goes with this one here. You might not have much of a highlight, or it might be all highlighted because of the way that it's stretching. And if you want to get creepy, we can even go in and add just a little value to all of our teeth too. Now I'm going to show you, that's open with a smile. So you also get a little bit of how to do a smile. I'm also going to draw my mouth facing a different direction. So that means a different perspective. So I want to figure out the angle of my smile. So I can see that it's going to kind of go back to this direction. Ooh, we'll change that to be not as extreme. So I'm not going to see all of my lip. Instead, I'm only going to see a little bit here, the V there, and then connecting down to that bottom. So we're not going to see a full lip, which means this lip down here isn't going to be a full lip either. Instead, that's going to come around and it's going to come back up to the side. Now, I'm not going to have that much teeth showing. So you do want to look at your space in between and figure out not only where those lips meet, but how they connect. And now that I have that, I can go in and I can start adding. So if this is the center of my mouth by where that V is, I want to make sure that I have my front teeth in the center of my mouth also. Now I'm also going to see a little bit more of these other teeth because I'm looking at the side of my mouth before it goes dark. So figuring out, ooh, yeah, just a little bit of tooth right there. Figuring out where those gums are and where this is going to line up with your lip. Now, it does take a little bit. Mine's not perfect. Ooh, that's where my nose could go, right? From that nose that I did on the other page. But look at how when I start adding in my other stuff, it starts to look a little bit more like a face. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching today. Remember, your goal is to draw 2 mouths, playing around with the circle sizes and the up and the down. And then you can choose to draw 1 mouth either open and smiling or open and facing a different way. With that being said, I look forward to seeing your mouths. We only have 1 box left and we will be doing that next week. So when you are finished with all 3 of these pages on your sketchbook, you want to make sure that you take a picture of this and submit this to the Friday assignment so that you get credit for your sketchbook activities. Enjoy your weekend, guys.